Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. Today, we're going to embark on a really incredible journey, taking what a lot of folks might brush off as dusty, ancient history and transforming it into a vibrant, highly visual roadmap for daily life. If you're looking for a little clarity in our totally chaotic world, you're in the exact right place. We are going to decode some profound visual theology together, and it is going to be fascinating.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually wondered how a 2,000-year-old theological text, specifically the ancient Apostles' Creed, could possibly provide a practical, day-to-day framework for navigating our modern, highly unpredictable world? I mean, it's so easy to look at historic creeds as just words on a page, right? But today, we're going to use an incredibly striking piece of visual art to decode this ancient confession, showing how the source material presents these not just as ideas to memorize, but as actual tools to live by.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with decoding the ancient confession, then look at the three pillars of faith, and jump into visual theology, I believe. After that, we'll hit the fellowship of believers, focus amid the storm, and wrap up with how believe translates into life. All right, Section 1, Decoding the Ancient Confession, focusing on the history of the Apostles' Creed.
Now, you might actually be surprised to learn that this foundational text wasn't just hammered out by the 12 apostles over lunch in a single afternoon. Not at all. As the timeline shows, this confession was intricately forged over hundreds of years. An initial prototype emerged way back in the 2nd century. From there, it was shaped, tested, and refined by the early church through some pretty intense trials and debates. It literally wasn't until the 7th and 8th centuries that the formal contents we know today were finalized. So the source material highlights this as a tested, universal confession that has successfully united Christians across the globe for nearly 2 millennia.
So the crucial point here is understanding exactly why this text was created in the first place, because, well, it really sets the stakes for our modern interpretation. It served 3 massive historical purposes. First up, it was a public baptismal confession, a way for individuals to draw a line in the sand before God and their community. Second, it acted as a concise teaching tool to help new believers grasp the core tenets of the faith efficiently. And third, it formed a strict theological boundary to clearly define what the early church believed in the face of creeping heresies.
Moving right along to Section 2, 3 Pillars of Faith, addressing the big question, who is God? Before we can translate belief into action, the source material suggests we have to understand the core belief system grounding the entire text, and there is a really fascinating philosophical contrast here. While traditional religions often hold various concepts of deity, the Christian faith presents a deeply unique claim. On the right side, we see the human tendency outlined. False gods are created by humans, and they must be desperately sought out by humans. But on the left, the Christian text asserts the exact opposite, that the true God creates humans and actively seeks humans out in love. Basically, the idea is that believers didn't choose him, he chose them.
This truth breaks down into 3 foundational pillars in the text. First, worshiping the one true God. Second, trusting the Almighty Father. And third, belonging to the Creator Lord. The source material explains that acknowledging this transforms a believer's entire worldview. Rather than being the owners of their own lives, anxiously trying to control the whole shebang, they are framed as beloved children trusting an Almighty Father who personally guides them through every valley.
Okay, let's jump into Section 3, Visual Theology, where we start decoding the canvas.
So we are looking at a brilliant piece of visual art here that acts as a decoder map, perfectly fusing typography and theology into one cohesive image based around the word believe. On the left side of this artwork, the artist designed the letter I as a towering, incredibly sturdy structure. Notice how it stands straight up? It acts as an unshakable visual symbol for the soul's refuge. When everything else in the background is this dark, swirling storm of anxiety, that tower represents returning to God. And that little red cross resting right at the pinnacle, that visually grounds the abstract concept that turning from doubt to belief provides the ultimate foundational anchor. Now, what's really interesting about this piece is the letter B right in the center of the canvas. Look at how thick, grounded, and deeply rooted those solid brown structures are. The artist is showing us that knowing God isn't just some lofty intellectual exercise. To stand tall, the source text implies you have to root yourself deeply in the solid truth of the scriptures. Those earthy, grounding brown tones represent the unceasing nourishment required to build a strong, resilient life structure.
Section 4, the Fellowship of Believers, visualized as the boat of salvation. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. If you look at the bottom half of the painting, you'll see these brightly colored, overlapping letters resting directly upon a dark, sweeping black base. The artist uses this to depict the concept of the church as a fellowship boat. That strong black base is the vessel of salvation, safely carrying individuals through the massive, chaotic storms of the world. But look closely at the letters themselves. They are vividly colored and overlapping. This represents diverse gifts and the way individuals are tightly woven together in mutual love and support. This directly visualizes the principle, I believe, so I will belong to Christ's body. It's just a gorgeous reminder that, according to the text, navigating the choppy, unpredictable waters of life was never meant to be a solo mission. Believers absolutely must bear each other's burdens in unity. You need the boat, and you definitely need the people in it with you.
Moving on to section 5, focus amid the storm and finding the perspective.
So how exactly do we find perspective when facing the anxiety of the unknown? Take a look at this powerful devotional sketch. It perfectly captures that overwhelming feeling of asking, what in the world will tomorrow bring? The artist draws life as a long corridor made of converging perspective lines. All around the outside, you see those chaotic, swirling blue-green strokes. That's the flowing storm of life's changes. And look at the steps beneath our feet. They actually change color. Sometimes it's a smooth green, sometimes a turning yellow, sometimes a heavy, difficult brown. But notice where all the lines lead. Deep at the center, right at the end of the perspective, is the cross. The source material suggests that when eyes are fixed on that deepest point, hearts can finally settle.
As the artist reflects, the phrase, I know who holds tomorrow, is not just some hollow, feel-good slogan. It is an active, deliberate choice. It's the conscious choice to pull your gaze away from the confusing, chaotic lines on either side and instead focus entirely on the Lord who accompanies you from the starting line all the way to the finish line.
Let's move back to the main typography artwork and see how this builds. On the right side of the canvas, the letter V is drawn as a green, living stem sprouting upward. It's a fantastic visual metaphor for a fruitful life constantly reaching for the light. And it's reaching straight toward a bright, glowing yellow cross in the upper corner that cuts completely through that dark charcoal background of fear. It shows that resurrection hope lights the path forward, no matter how scary or dark the backdrop of life might be.
Finally, section 6, believe translates into life and the ultimate reveal.
Okay, this right here is the true masterstroke of the visual decoder. Let's explicitly contrast these two concepts. On the left, we have believe. Often, we treat belief as purely an internal state, right? Simply reciting historical creeds or holding theological doctrines in your mind. But on the right, we have live. Living is external. It is active. It is about actually navigating the storms of life with purpose and leaning on your community. Stepping back to look at the entire canvas, the artist delivers a profoundly clever visual statement. The elongated letters L-I-V-E are inherently embedded right there within the word B-E-L-I-E-V. I mean, how cool is that? This isn't just a clever design trick. It is resounding proof of the artist's message that genuine faith is never just verbal. You literally cannot have believe without live right inside of it. The explainer makes it clear. Ancient theology absolutely demands daily, vibrant action.
The source material pairs this entire visual journey with a really beautiful bedtime liturgy that reads, I am a child of the Most High King. I will not be moved, for my God is with me and goes before me. I do not fear because I am his. This encapsulates our entire journey today perfectly, moving from the heavy doubt of dark waters into total, unshakable security in the face of fear. It represents the peace that comes from actually translating belief into life.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a direct question based on the material we've covered. Think about the roadmap we've decoded today. How are you translating your own core beliefs into practical ways you navigate the storms of your daily life? Are your beliefs just a sturdy tower locked away in your mind? Or are they the active boat that carries you and others safely through the waters? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and keep actively looking for the meaning hidden inside the art all around you. Catch you next time.